It's no secret that starting on Amazon can get quite overwhelming. With so much information online, it can really get confusing. But what is the most important thing that a beginner should take note of? Today, I will answer this question, so stay tuned and we're going to help grow your Amazon business. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Thomas Parkinson and I've been selling on Amazon now for 4 years. Now, looking back over the years, there have been many things I wish I'd known before I started. And in this video today, I want to share with you. Now, what are we going to talk about today in this video? So, first things first, number one, I'm going to talk about why is it important to know these things before you start selling on Amazon. Number two, I'm going to go through the 7 things I wish I knew before I started selling on Amazon, problems and the solution. Then finally, number 3, is selling on Amazon worth it? I'm going to answer that question for you. So let's get started now. Number 1, why is it important to know these things before selling on Amazon? So one of the most important secrets I've seen from successful Amazon sellers is being open to seeking out advice from other experienced sellers. Like what I've been mentioning in my videos, don't reinvent the wheel. Learn from other sellers and apply it in your business. Now, there are many tricks that these sellers know about that can improve your chances of success. And by taking the time to know the problem and the solutions before starting on Amazon, you'll be way ahead of other sellers just starting out like you, who are figuring out things by themselves. Okay, so quick question for you guys. Are you thinking about starting to sell on Amazon, or are you considering it? If you are, give me a big yes in the comments down below. I'm interested to see how many of you are getting started or thinking about getting started soon on Amazon. Drop me a yes in the comments down below. Right, that leads me nicely onto the second part. This is the 7 things I wish I knew before I started selling on Amazon. Okay, so the first problem that you're going to encounter is getting ungated in different categories and brands. Hence what's called eligibility for inventory or inventory eligibility. Now, this is a common issue that many new sellers face, considering that more and more categories are restricted for new sellers than ever before. They have fewer products that they can safely buy and resell on Amazon without getting a warning or even suspended. Things are changing. So if you are a new seller in Amazon who is trying to get ungated, you should be aware that the ungating process will require you to provide documentation to Amazon. Now, one caveat that you need to understand is that even if you've got 0 or very, very low sales on Amazon, they will generally and most likely not ungate you, regardless of whether you have the correct documentation or not. Now, I suggest that you try and get at least £1,000, $1,000 worth of sales before you start any ungating process. Why? Because Amazon wants to see that you can sell a product without getting complaints. And you know what I'll do? I'll drop a link above to a guide that I created about how to get ungated. It's a great video. It's really going to help you out. So watch that. It will help you get ungated. This leads me nicely onto my next point, which is the hidden costs. What do I mean by that? Well, quite simply, there are fees associated with selling on Amazon, and most sellers fail to calculate them correctly, which results in them losing money. Okay, so one of the hidden costs is the shipping cost. Now, let me explain what I mean by this. You found a product you want to buy and it's currently with a supplier. So you buy the product and they ship it to your house. Fantastic, not a problem. You now prepare the product to get into Amazon, but it takes money and it takes a cost to ship it from your house or even your prep center into Amazon itself. That is what's called the shipping cost, or sometimes I call it the UPS fee, which will be the delivery fee to get it from your house or prep center into Amazon's warehouses. Now, Amazon strongly recommends that you use UPS, and I agree with them because they are super, super cheap with Amazon's preferential rates for Amazon sellers like you. Now, what I'll do is I'll drop an overlay around here to show you an estimation of our shipping costs for one box with the size of, I think it's 42 by 27 inches. Now, to ship this box from our house with collection from our house or prep center into Amazon was just £3.63. Now, what I will say is that is ex VAT, and if you're not sure about VAT, you've got to add 20% onto that fee. So the ex VAT price is £3.63, and if you're not sure if you're VAT registered or not, generally add 20% extra on, and that is going to be the cost to get that box into Amazon. Now, not only the shipping fee the Amazon calculator doesn't show, but also it doesn't talk about the FBA long-term storage fee, which is one other cost Amazon calculator doesn't talk about. Now, this is a hidden cost within your business that you should just be aware of. Now this happens if your inventory exceeds 365 days in Amazon's warehouses. Now this can result in your account being charged a monthly long-term storage fee. Now you might be asking, what do we do in our Amazon business to avoid long-term storage fees? Well, quite simply, if the product in my business, if the product is over 90 days old, we're going to pretty much lower that price down and sell it through even at break even. Now, if the competition has a lower price, we will even sell at a loss at certain times just to get rid of that product. Now, the one thing I will say in my business, I'm pretty aggressive in how we do our pricing. We're not really looking at holding stock for longer than 90 days, but I know a lot of other sellers will wait for 180, even 270 days before they do this approach, selling at break even or even at a loss. Now, most people will not allow their stock to stay longer than 365 days, but you know what? Our lives are busy. Sometimes they can. If we don't monitor it, we are going to incur those long-term storage fees. So just be aware. Now, there are many more fees out there when selling on Amazon, and the ones that I've just mentioned are part of it all. But if you want to learn more about Amazon FBA fees, what I'm going to do is drop a link above to a video I created. It's just going to help explain them all in detail, step by step, and make sure that you fully understand the costs associated with selling on Amazon. Now, this leads me nicely onto my third point, which is the things I wish I knew before selling on Amazon. And what is that? Price wars. Now, if you are not familiar with it, price wars are basically a strategy whereby Amazon sellers undercut one another by reducing their prices. This is whereby the price of a product will crash due to too much competition on that listing. Now, if you want to know some top tips about how to avoid price wars, here are some things I'd recommend you do. If you feel that you are in a price war, first things first, have a look at the competitor's stock. This is because if they've got a small amount of stock remaining and their price is lower than yours, then what you might do is wait for them to sell out, and then obviously the price will come back up at your price and you can sell the product for a much better profit. Now, other practices to do that we do in my business are setting a minimum maxer on a repricer. Why? This is going to tell the repricer when you should get involved in a price war and when you shouldn't. In our business, we have automations which flick between different custom rules that support us in changing the pricing strategies based on certain market conditions, such as a price war. Now, if you want to learn more about price wars, what I'm going to do is I'll drop a link to a video up here, which is just going to help explain the whole process and help you out in understanding what to do during them in a lot more detail. So check that out. Okay, so for my next tip, the one thing that I'd really recommend for you is to consider is when you're competing with Amazon. Now, a couple of things that you need to know is that Amazon is a big machine. We already understand that, big marketplace. One thing to understand is Amazon understands all the historical data in far more detail than you will. Now, they understand how fast the product is selling, how much stock the other competitors have got, how much stock's on the way in, and how much has already been sold. Just be very mindful that Amazon really understands these products in a lot more detail than you do, and as a result, they can make much better informed decisions than you can. Now, what can I recommend for you if you are thinking about competing against Amazon? Well, what I'd say for you is just make sure when you are doing your deal analysis, when you are competing against Amazon, you've got enough profit margin in your deals. Why? Because if Amazon decides to compete against you, you are going to need to have a lot of flexibility or a lot of room in that margin to reduce your price down. Because if Amazon starts competing, they can get very aggressive. Now, generally speaking for us, what do? We generally don't go for products where Amazon is on the listing. And if we do, then what we do is we check to see if the Amazon has ever sold below our break-even price. Now, the reason why I suggest doing this is that historically, Amazon has never gone below your break-even. So even if you go to Amazon's lowest historical price, you're always going to just get your money back. That's the worst case scenario. So top tip there. Now, what I suggest you guys start doing is start sourcing smarter and go looking for products that don't have Amazon on the listing. And this is what other Amazon sellers are doing. They are not competing against Amazon on their own marketplaces. They're finding listings without Amazon. Now, this leads me quite nicely to after you have sourced a product and shipped it into Amazon and it's got sold, the next thing that you should know about is the slow payout times in which Amazon holds your money. Now, typically, Amazon payment times are going to occur every 2 weeks by default. So you're going to have to wait 14 days from the moment you've sold an item for Amazon to start the transfer into your bank account. Now, in addition to this, it's going to take another 3 to 5 days for the money to actually reach your bank account. So just be aware, it takes quite a long time after you've sold an item to get the money in your account. Now, if you want to prevent further payment delays, avoid having missing deadlines, top tip for you, just make sure you have valid bank details and a valid credit card, because both of them are required to initiate the payment on your Amazon account. Now, I'd also recommend checking to make sure you don't have a negative balance or zero balance at the time of payment, because also if you've got a zero balance, they won't release any of the money because you've still got selling fees and refunds that may need to be covered. Just make sure of that. Now, what I'll do is I'll drop a quick overlay around here about reasons for payment delays that Amazon state themselves. Just be aware of that, it's going to really help you out. Now, another issue you've got to be aware of is in regards to disbursements is that also Amazon can suspend your account at any time and withhold your payments, even without warning. Now, this can become a massive issue or a massive shock to Amazon sellers, because Amazon can hold back your funds and hence affect your stock levels, your sales, your growth, and overall performance of your business. Now, I remember it back in November 2020 when I was selling on Amazon on my road to 1 million. And what happened? Amazon sent me an email asking to have some information about my account. They didn't say anything, but what happened? They actually withheld my money. They didn't suspend my account, but they suspended my ability to disburse my money. It was always showing zero, even though I had about £40,000 by the end of it that I had available in my balance, but I couldn't disburse anything. Now, what did I do? Well, I was looking through the emails that Amazon sent me, and the first things first that I did was not to immediately reply, but to take my time reading those emails. Now, the second thing I did was to research what other people had done or what they had heard from during these experiences by looking on seller forums and asking for feedback. Now, once I researched what happened, I put together a response to Amazon and I asked for feedback from experienced sellers. Now, once I'd got that feedback from them and I felt that I ticked all the boxes, I finally submitted my response to Amazon. And the result, well, I got my funds back and I could get selling again on Amazon. Now, what I'll do is if you are interested in learning about more how I dealt with that problem, I'll drop a link up there to a video I created about the whole journey and how I resolved it, and some top tips for you. Check that out. Now, I said it earlier and I'll say it again, Amazon knows everything about the listings and what's being sold. Hence, if they detect something odd and they see that you fail to comply with their guidelines, they can easily suspend your account at any time. Now, one of the factors that can get your account deactivated is what's known as your Amazon health. So pretty simply, this is an overview of your Amazon account's metrics and your adherence to the performance targets and policies as required by Amazon to sell on their platform. Now, Amazon says in their own documentation, occasionally, seller accounts with very poor performance are immediately deactivated. So I'll drop an overlay around here and you can just see that information. So just be aware, poor performance is going to lead into your account being immediately deactivated. Now, if you've got an order defect rate which is over 1%, your account will be deactivated. Since their policy states that sellers need to maintain an order defect rate under 1% in order to sell on Amazon. So an order defect rate above 1% may result in your account being deactivated. So be aware, understand those rules. Now, there are many other factors that can risk your account, and you might be asking, what can you do as an Amazon seller? Well, quite simply, take time to read their terms and conditions, their policies, in order to prevent you from getting your account suspended and staying on the right side of Amazon's guidelines. So check those out, it's really going to help you. Now, I'd also make sure that you monitor your account health regularly. It's a great dashboard that's going to show you areas that you need to improve on and focus on in your business. Now, if your account does get suspended, I really recommend watching that previous video I talked about when I got my selling or my money suspended, because I talked through the process I take. Yes, you want to be fast. Yes, you want to take immediate action, but you also want to make sure the action you take is correct and you are not using up the ability to send emails to Amazon. So do it the right way. Watch that video, it's really going to help you. Now, this leads me nicely onto my seventh and final thing that I'm going to consider if you are selling on Amazon. What is it? Well, it takes money to make money. What does this mean? Well, yes, you can quite simply start selling on Amazon for £500. I don't deny that. But if you're looking to replace your job, you're going to need a lot more money to get started. Now, in a recent poll where we asked how long it took other Amazon sellers before they took their first salary payment from their Amazon business, the winning response was 12 months. 19 votes out of our viewers basically said 12 months. So if you are thinking realistically about getting started to sell on Amazon, you've got to put money into this business. And let's say you've got to get it running for at least 2 years, and only then can you actually make money from Amazon to take it out to pay yourself. So just be really mindful of that. So this leads me nicely onto my final bit, which is it actually still worth selling on Amazon? Well, the reality of the situation is, and even from my own experience over the last 4 years, it's damn hard work, but there is still money to be made. What is it? Well, quite simply, you're going to need to invest a lot of cash. You're going to need to work hard, and I mean really hard. This is to do the business and learn about the business as well. In addition to that, we talked about it earlier, you're going to need delayed gratification. What do I mean by that? Well, most people think at least 12 months is how long you need to run your business before you can even take a penny out of it. So just be mindful of that. And then even after 12 months, even 2 years, can you start taking money out of your business? So is it worth it? Yes, there is money, there is opportunity, and that is why I've started now another business that's selling on Amazon USA. But is it a get-rich-quick scheme? Is it super simple? Can you do it overnight? No, it's damn hard work, and it's going to take a lot of hard work, graft, investment, time, money, and effort to grow that business. So yes, you can start, but it's not as easy as maybe people on YouTube make it out. Now, if you have decided after all of this to think about starting to sell on Amazon and you want to learn more about managing your Amazon business, what I'm going to do is drop a link around here to a recommended playlist about Amazon arbitrage for beginners. That's just going to help you understand exactly all the things you need to do to get started on Amazon. Check that out. But hey, if you've liked this video, give me a big thumbs up. And hey, if you want to see more like this, hit that subscribe button down below. That's the subscribe button down below. But for me, Thomas Parkinson and FastTrackFBA, thank you very much.